Hey guys, what's going on? Happy New Year! Today is going to begin the first in a long and ambitious series of videos that I'm going to be doing on my channel. I am going to attempt to do a graphic novel review every day for this entire calendar year. 365 graphic novel reviews. We're going to see how this works. Maybe I'm going to give up around day 100, I don't know. But right now, I am beginning day 1 of the 365-day graphic novel review challenge, and I will be talking about Infinity Inc. Volume 1, The Generations Saga. This collects All-Star Comics issue 25 and 26, and All-Star Comics Annual 2, I think, and then Infinity Inc. issues 1 through 4. Now, this book was solicited along with a Volume 2 back when this first came out, and then DC Comics, for some reason, they canceled Volume 2, and they never put that out. And after reading this volume, I can kind of see why they didn't put Volume 2 out, because I hate to say it, but this volume isn't very good, so I imagine the people who did read this, they weren't very excited for Volume 2. Maybe a lot of people canceled their pre-orders of Volume 2. I don't know, but this volume, unfortunately, isn't very good. Now, I want to go ahead and say I really like the concept of Earth 2. I like a lot of the Earth 2 characters. I really like the idea of doing a second generation Justice Society team. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I like a lot of these characters in concept. The problem is, everything else about this book, I would have done it completely differently if it was up to me. What they did, Roy Thomas was writing this book, and back in the 1980s, they would have a superhero team debut in another title to kind of test the waters and see if people were interested in that team. So, the New Teen Titans, they first appeared in DC Comics Presents issue 26, I think. And then the All-Star Squadron, they first appeared in an issue of DC Comics Presents. And then Captain Carrot and his Zoo Crew, they first appeared in the New Teen Titans. So, they did that kind of thing a lot back in the 80s, and Roy Thomas wanted Infinity Inc. to appear in an issue of DC Comics Presents. But then the editor of that comic said, I don't have an opening for several months, so instead Roy Thomas wanted to have Infinity Inc. first appear in All-Star Squadron, which was the only other title set on Earth 2. The problem is, All-Star Squadron was set in the 1940s, so they had to do a time travel story to introduce Infinity Inc. So in issues 25, 26, and the annual, that's the first time anybody ever saw Infinity Inc., and they were being controlled by the Ultra Humanite, and they weren't really that present in those issues. They were guest stars, but they weren't really the main focus of those issues. And then after that, you get Infinity Inc. issue 1, which shows these guys meeting for the first time, and they're trying to get membership into the Justice Society, and that's how they eventually form their own team. Spoilers, when the Justice Society says, no, we don't want you guys to join our group. And it's problematic because those 3 issues of All-Star Squadron, there's not a whole lot of plot there. Basically, the only plot is the Ultra Humanite is in this movie star's body, and he wants his brain transferred into Robot Man's body. That's the plot of those 3 issues, but it took 3 issues for all of that to not happen. There's a whole lot of dead space there where Infinity Inc. is fighting the Justice Society, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on that's basically just padding so that this non-plot can take 3 entire issues. And then, in the first 4 issues of Infinity Inc., we basically get to see the team form. For like 2 issues, they're trying to join the Justice Society, and that doesn't really work out for them. And then the Star Spangled Kid says, hey, why don't you guys form your own superhero team, and me, the Huntress, and Power Girl, we can all be part of this team together. And we're going to call it Infinity Inc. because there's nothing we won't do and nowhere we won't go. And that's basically the contents of this book. Like I said, I really like the idea of a second-generation Justice Society team. I really like several of these characters, at least in concept. Some of them are written a little awful. Jade is just a terrible person. She comes in and she says, hey, I'm the Green Lantern's daughter, and this is my brother Obsidian. And then she's like, okay, we're going to leave. Don't try to follow us, Green Lantern. We just wanted to drop that bombshell on you, and now we're not going to hang out and talk to you and get to know you or anything like that. That was just really stupid. And then the Silver Scarab, Hector Hall, he's the son of Hawkman, and he is just an anus. He is the worst guy ever. He is mean to everyone in this book except for his girlfriend Fury, who is the daughter of Wonder Woman, but he is mean to everybody. He is really mean to his, I guess, stepbrother slash foster brother, Northwind. He's the godson of Hawkman, so I don't know how that would make him related to Hector Hall, but he is just mean to a lot of people in this book. But in premise, I really like the idea of doing basically an Earth 2 Teen Titans series, but unfortunately, the way that this team is introduced is just really clunky. It's just really complicated and convoluted. I feel like there are 100 different ways that they could could have introduced this team. They didn't have to introduce Infinity Inc. in All-Star Squadron. If you wanted to, you could have started off Infinity Inc. in their own series, introduced them in Infinity Inc. issue 1, and then after the team has been put together and they've been having adventures for about a year, then you can do a time travel story where you have Infinity Inc. crossover with the All-Star Squadron. You could do, like, the story starts in Infinity Inc. and then it continues in that month's All-Star Squadron, and then they come back to the present day. I think that would have worked a lot better than having them first appear in All-Star Squadron, and then you're having to lead up to that adventure in the first 2 issues of Infinity Inc. All of that was just handled really poorly, in my opinion. Overall, do I recommend Infinity Inc., the Generation Saga? No, unfortunately, I don't, which is a shame because a lot of these characters, they come to be used quite a bit in the last 15-20 years of DC Comics. If you've ever read any of the Jeff Johns, David Goyer JSA series, a lot of these characters show up in that series, and they are pretty important in that series. But if you are interested in those characters and you want to read more of them outside of that JSA series, I don't know where you should go, but I'm not going to recommend that you read Infinity Inc. So those are my thoughts on this book. I hope that you guys liked this review. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back with you guys tomorrow for another graphic novel review. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you later.